Hi, how to sleuth a supermarket. Stock sleuthing means looking for physical information before it becomes public, because once the information is available on the internet for everyone, there is no longer much value in it. That's why most value investors have been doing so badly ever since the internet has brought information to the masses. To overcome this problem, you have to leave your house or office and go talk to people involved in daily corporate operations to chat them up, ask questions so you can see what really goes on, physically goes on, before it becomes free internet blips that anyone can see. Don't try to get inside information from directors and VPs and other insiders. It's illegal and immoral. But you can't ask low-level people in a company about their job, if it has gotten harder or easier, and whether they are doing more or less than a month or a year ago. You can also examine the product and look for changes, either physically or in price, and compare the competition. You will be surprised how valuable this physical sleuthing can be. To see how to go about it methodically, buy and read my book, The Sleuth Investor. But you may ask, how can I do all this in these days of Corona, when people keep their distance and are wary of strangers like me? Can I still sleuth for profit? Yes, you can. Let me give you a concrete example. I live in Toronto, Canada, and over the last few months, during Corona, which we had like everybody else, shopping was done by keeping distance from others. So there were long lineups in front of the supermarket where I often get my shopping done. The name of the supermarket is Metro. It's a subsidiary of Metro Inc. of Montreal. The stock symbol is MRU.TO. It's trading in Toronto. Metro sells and produces food and runs drugstores in Canada. It has about 950 food stores and perhaps 650 drugstores. It also sells to restaurants and other chains. Its headquarters in Montreal and was founded in 1947, 73 years ago. So, by the way, it is exactly as old as I am. Anyway, I like shopping there. The food is good, the service too, and it's nearby. Let's take it then as an example for this lesson on how to sleuth close to home. In the first month of quarantine, the lineups at the Metro store nearby were very long, as everyone was buying frantically, much more than normal, fearing shortages. Were there any food shortages? This would have an impact on the earnings of Metro Inc., which is what I wanted to sleuth. To find it out, while I did my shopping, I also chatted to Metro's employees as they were arranging fresh groceries and merchandise on the shelves. How is business, I asked? How much more do you have to order now to satisfy these long lineups outside? Oh yeah, they said, demand is crazy. In the first few days of Corona, we were ordering 3 pallets of groceries, where once we were ordering only 1. So sales basically tripled, I asked. Oh yeah, I was told, something like it. So let's stop for a moment, because this was good physical information from the shop floor. Yes, based on a chat in one store only, but others confirmed it. And the loader said it's similar in other Metro stores also. This was physical information not yet reflected in the published numbers, and I got it because I asked. Also, please note, those I talked to were not officers or managers of the company, nor insiders, just low-level employees chatting up with the customer, me. So how about shortages, I asked? Did the extra demand catch your suppliers short? For example, when you order now these 3 pallets instead of 1, did your supplier put you on allocation? Oh no, said the loaders. We can still order as much as we want. Yes, it may take a day or 2 more to get it, but there's plenty around because restaurants are closed, so there's more for us to sell. And anyway, people who stay home buy more because they eat at home now, not in restaurants. What about prices, I asked? Did you go around to change prices much because of demand? Which really meant, did the supermarket take advantage of the extra demand to fleece customers like me? Nope, said the employees and shrugged. Nothing unusual. Just in case, I went around the shelves and checked and saw that prices were indeed not much different. Yeah, here and there, some higher prices, but nothing much. All this was about 2 months ago. After that first chat, every week or so when I went shopping, I chatted periodically again with the loaders and with other employees. How much are you ordering now? Still triple the usual volume? Well, they said, still more than normal, but no, certainly not as much as triple. but still about 1.5 times more, maybe, so we are still selling more. People are still buying more, but there's no more shelf stocking at home. But yes, customer, yes, indeed are buying more. So that was also good information. What about the profit, do I wanted to know? What products were up in price? What went down? I couldn't ask employees about profit, so instead I chose a sample of products: milk, yogurt, vinegar, oil, eggs, cheddar cheese, certain groceries, and here I found something interesting. I found that the supermarket has been increasing the number of products it produces itself, the so-called house brands. The two most notable Metro house brands were called Irresistibles and Selections. I like the names. The trend was noticeable. Just like Amazon is squeezing its sellers online by competing with them, Metro too is doing it more and more. All across the board, it seems the number of house brands of Metro was rising, and they was always a little bit cheaper than the brand names. Yet they looked familiar. So when I tried them, they tested the same or occasionally even better. What became evident was that Metro was squeezing the profits of suppliers, just like Amazon does, to provide customers like me cheaper products. For example, whereas high-fat milk brand name was $3.99 a liter, the Metro brand called Selections was $2.99, or sometimes even $1.99. So while Metro's brand of milk flew off the shelf, often leaving the shelf empty, the higher priced brand name milk languished. So after a few days, it had to be discounted by $1 just to clear it, which, by the way, is something that the clerks confirmed when I chatted with them. And who do you think was producing this store brand Metro milk? Most likely the very same dairy that was slowly being squeezed because it had to fill up its planned production capacity by this no-name brand. So, and this was not just in milk. The same story repeated in sour cream, cheddar cheese, eggs, and other products. In vinegar, it was especially striking, $1.99 per bottle versus $3, $4, and sometimes $5 for fancy brand names. Butter for $1, $2 less too. Metro, in other words, was milking the value out of brand names it was selling and putting some of it into its own stock, and yes, some of it into customers' pocket like me. So not only the store was selling higher volume due to Corona, it was also squeezing its supplier just like Amazon does and handing part of the benefit to me, the customer. So it became quite likely as I was doing all this that the profit margins of Metro, once they're finally reported, would probably go up. I am guessing. What of the employees? Usually employees are a good barometer for corporate culture. And here, despite the hard times and the mask that they had to wear and the extra work, they were still all smiling, polite, cheerful, the same faces I've seen there for the last few years, meaning there's not much turnover. Yes, this too is part of sleuthing. Now, what about corporate governance, the management? Usually I check with friends on Bay Street that can get me scuttlebutt and rumors about the corporate executives. But here I didn't have to. A quick check of board of directors grading, which you can find on Finance Yahoo, showed that the grade is very good. Governance quality score is 3 on a scale of 1 to 10. Audit is 1, top. Board quality 2. Shareholders' right 6, so-so, but compensation 2, which means they are not overpaid. As for the stock performance, how did it do over the last decade or so? The first check of every stock that I look at is to divide the stock price by the market index over the last 20 years on any charting program. I don't rely on it, but I like to know it. Unless the stock had outperformed the market, why bother? Just buy an index or an ETF. Here the ratio has been going steadily up over the last 20 years, which means the stock was doing much better than the market, outperforming the TSX index handily. But is the stock cheap? On a price earning, price to book value or cash flow basis, on the dividend yield? Well, you look it up. Unlike the physical information about jump in sales and probable future uptick in profit margins, which I got in my sleuthing, the valuation performance is all public. So go look at it. You decide. So is the stock a buy? On this I stay mum. Remember, I give no tips, no recommendations. I only mention the stock as an example for how to sleuth on your own. Here the example was Metro Inc., MRU symbol in Toronto. The actual conclusion of its value must be your own. That's all for today. If you like the above, please give it a like and give a comment below. then subscribe, tell your friends about it so they can subscribe also. I'll see you next time. And meantime, thank you very much for watching.